Have you ever been in a relationship and it ended and you wondered, oh my goodness, what happened? This could be a relationship with a family member. This could be a relationship with a friend. It could be a relationship with someone you really loved. And when we have relationships that end, we can end up being disillusioned, confused, and perplexed. If that's you, today's talk is simply for you. My name is Sheree Cain-Jones. You can call me Coach Sheree, and what I do is I help successful, smart, capable women who are just like you stop being controlled in their relationships, set boundaries so that you can get the love, trust, connection, and the respect that you deserve and the respect that you need. Now, I know I've been there where I was in a relationship and it ended and I found myself saying, oh my goodness, what happened? And this can be really confusing for a lot of women. And so all of you can begin to now move forward and to understand, how do I deal with conflict in my relationships and how do I lead with my relationships? So how do you do that? Well, the very first thing that I need to do is I need to debunk some myths that just because you have conflict means you're a bad person. That is simply not true. Listen to this. Conflict and relationships are not the antithesis of one another. Conflict and relationships are in harmony with one another. So what this means is that if you're married to someone, you can expect conflict. You can give me an amen on the other side of the screen. If you have adult children, guess what? You can expect to have conflict. If you have parents, you can expect to have conflict. If you have in-laws, you can expect to have conflict. If you lead a team of people, you can expect to have conflict. Listen, conflict and relationships go together, but it's our understanding of our ability to harness them that is going to enable us to have success in our life. You know, there's so many examples of people in history who had conflict and they really didn't understand how to handle it. So I'll tell you a little story about me. I remember I was in a relationship with a woman and it was great. Like we both had kids, both had little kids. At the time we were both married, and then one day the relationship ended and I found myself confused and asking why. Here's what I didn't know, and I believe it's gonna help you. Just because you've prayed together, you've cried together, you've been there for one another together, you've had fun together, just because your relation began one way, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Just because you share history, it does not guarantee you future direction. And this can be so confusing because we think sometimes that relationships are static when really they're fluid. I want you to think about this. You are not the same person that you were 10 years ago. So just as you have changed, guess what, girl? Your relationships are gonna change. So this means that guy that you were really into maybe 5 years ago, he was good for then, but girl, he is not good for now. So just understanding that, hey, wait a minute, seasons change, relationships change. It's just a part of life. So then how can I begin to now navigate dealing with the fact that there's going to be conflict in relationships? Well, number one, here's what I want you to understand. This is a great takeaway. Remember this. Just because you have conflict with a person does not mean that you were a bad person. In other words, sometimes we think because, listen, I'm having some conflict with my mother, or I'm having conflict with my mother-in-law, or conflict with a friend, that somehow I'm a bad person. We all bring to life our different attitudes, opinions, and perspectives. And I remember I was in a situation with a family member where I had a very different set of opinions and beliefs, and it caused some conflict. And it was about how I raised my kids. But just because I had conflict with this person, that didn't make me bad. It simply made me different. And a lot of women are confused because they say, well, wait a minute, my parents are trying to tell me how to raise my kids and I'm getting upset. Does that make me bad? No, that doesn't make you bad, girl. That makes you a person. It's not that you having conflict makes you bad. It may just mean that you need to set a boundary. So number one, conflict does not make you a bad person. Number two, remember this, and this is important because I touched on it. History is not a guarantee for future access. History is not a guarantee for future access. So what this means is that, just like I said earlier, a relationship that you had access to in the past doesn't mean that you should have access to the same person or they should have access to you in the future. Now, I remember I was in a situation with someone, and what I recognized was that I really wasn't sure where our relationship was. So I had to make a decision to set a boundary with this person. And what ended up happening is that the relationship ended. Now, some people would say, Sheree, you know what? That boundary ended the relationship, but the truth was the boundary revealed the relationship. You see, our past was not a guarantee to this person always having access. And what I found out through that relationship is that it really wasn't a relationship. Our bond wasn't a true bond, it was really a transaction. So we sometimes need to evaluate the state of our relationship and say, hey, does this person get guaranteed access, or do I need to limit their access? And then number 3, and I'm just looking here at my notes, is that we need to understand that sometimes our conflict does not guarantee us closure. The way our culture is that it has really taught us you've got to have closure in the relationship. You just have to have an answer. You just need to know. You have to resolve all of the issues. But sometimes there are issues that cannot be resolved. The way our brains operate is that our brains, they literally are looking for a way to close the loop and end the story. Because when we don't have an ending to the story, it causes uncertainty, and that uncertainty can leave us with fear, it can leave us with distrust, and it can leave us with this ambiguous loss, and we really don't know how to deal with the pain. So sometimes when you have a relationship with someone, you don't have closure, you just need to get comfortable with it. Let me tell you a story. I have a relationship that ended, and I still don't quite have closure. It ended, it was abrupt, it was painful, really down to the core. But here's what I understand. The more I get comfortable with not having closure, the more I go comfortable with not having closure. Some of us have issues that we will never have answers for. You may never get the answer to why your father left you. You never may get the answer to why your mother didn't love you. You may never get the answer to why your spouse cheated on you. You may never get the answer to why this friend talked about you. You may never get the answer to why your adult child is still mad at you. Listen, just because you want closure doesn't mean you're going to get closure. And the more we get comfortable with being uncomfortable, the more we are now empowered to live our life. Listen, I understand that sometimes conflict can be very uncomfortable, especially as it pertains to women setting boundaries. So what I have in the description is a link to my next training where I help women understand the 5 consequences that you begin to suffer by not engaging in a little conflict and really setting some boundaries. Because when we don't have boundaries, we will continue to stay stuck. Listen, I want you to thrive in your relationships and get the love, the honesty, the respect that you deserve, and the connection that you truly need. So make sure that you register to come to my training. Remember what I said, just because a relationship began one way, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Listen, I love you. I believe in you. Continue to set boundaries and continue to have great relationships. Remember to take action, and I'll see you next time.